Hope you're having a wonderful day. So I just wanted to take a few minutes with the sweet sounds of children playing in the background to talk about an uncomfortable topic. People seem to think that it's almost like hate has re-arrived in the world of the levels we haven't seen since World War II, and that there's anti-Semitism at an all-time high. People want to destroy Israel, the Jews. There's hate crime all over the place. I'd like to try to put things into perspective, at least from my opinion. I think there's a few things going on. If you take the perspective of a Jew, I think that there are plenty of people that would agree and say that Israel has failed at portraying the situation. They're not that good at really squeezing out what some would call propaganda, although that has a negative connotation, but the idea of pushing the agenda to show what's going on. Part of that is because we have this respect for the dead as part of our Jewish law that we have to balance with making people aware of the news. So when people hear that 40 babies were slaughtered and beheaded, and they see it, well, you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words. And this is one side of the coin, is that there's a lot of hope that people will believe what we're saying with trying to have respect for the dead, while there's plenty of footage coming out of Gaza, etc. So as a Jew, I could be honestly sympathetic to the new pro-Palestinian protestors and sympathizers, because there might be a good percentage that are not really understanding, and they might really mean well. And then from a Muslim's point of view, well, I have a friend that put it very well. He said, we live in America where nobody trusts the politicians. They're all full of it. They're all fake. They all have agendas. So when you see something like this take place in Israel, you're automatically thinking the government was in on it. There's heads to roll, meaning people who have to take responsibility. They don't see it as an action of horror, but they see it as maybe some kind of governmental cover-up. And unfortunately, as an American, I can understand why they would think that, because this is how we all think in America. I don't mean to speak on your behalf, but nobody trusts the government. Everybody always thinks that the politicians have something up their sleeve. They're up to something. Whenever something happens, we create these wars, proxy wars. We support Ukraine, who somebody could still please try to explain to me why. So from their side of the coin, it's hard to have sympathy for a situation when you live in a country like America that really perpetrates sneakiness. Sorry. And then at the same time, there's another issue that's brewing that adds into all of this. And that is that where I lost my train of thought. There was the Jewish point of view, there was the Gazan point of view, and then there was the point of view of this humanitarian crisis, which is a serious issue. And you have to decide, where do you draw the line between standing up for your country and hurting others? And it's a horrible thing. We do realize, though, if Israel really wanted to, they could just drop bombs. They're losing soldiers. Jewish people are dying. And I say Jewish, not Israeli, not Zionist. Jewish people are dying so that Muslim people can live. That's just the short of it. Those are the facts, whether you want to admit it or not. We have up to date 20 soldiers alone that have died. If those 20 soldiers didn't die, they could be at home with their family and bombs could be dropped. So there has to be an acknowledgement of reality. There is so much to say on this subject, but in a nutshell, while it's very nice to think that the Jews are the victims, which they are, I don't think that there's enough sensitivity enough understanding of the realism and the humanism of the Gazans. I, for one, feel horrible about what's going on. And I think that, it's a terrible, terrible situation. And that was the thing I wanted to say. The way it works in war is that you deal with the situation and then later heads will roll. You'll figure out, why did this happen? Why was there a security breach, etc., etc., etc. I think the real problem is a couple of minutes between the pro-Palestinians and the Israelis. We're okay with finding out what went wrong. They're okay with finding out what went wrong later. The pro-Palestinians, the pro-Gazans, the whatever you want to call it, they don't need to live by the schedule of the IDF. They want to know now. And I think that if there was better communication, it's wonderful that you see Jews standing up for themselves stronger than they ever did in the history of the world, and they're standing their ground. Yes, but we need communication. I, for one, would not like to believe that communication cannot fix this. At least a percentage. Sure, there's hate. Sure, there's people you're never going to be able to change their mind no matter what. They're just itching for a reason. There'll always be people who hate the Jews. But I think at this point right now, if only Israel would have come out with more pictures, information, details, facts, I think we would have had more sympathy coming in. It's much easier to get somebody on your side than to talk them out of their side. Once they're on the other side of the equation, you know how humans are. We're all stubborn. Try to talk me out of something once I fully believe in my side. It's tough. Anyways, God willing, and I mean God willing, because God needs to help intervene and de-escalate this. But I do think that there is room for people to understand different sides if we could just try to open the gates of communication. God bless you. Hope I shed some light, or if at least, very least, I let out my feelings. And stay tuned. Like, subscribe. Tell everybody you know to subscribe. The pro-Palestinians, the Jews, Israelis, Americans, politicians, you guys should all subscribe to this channel. Because why not? God bless you.